Eritrea shouldn't have water security. On paper, it makes no sense. No major rivers. One of the driest climates on Earth. Decades of economic pressure and isolation. And yet, by the mid-2020s, most Eritreans have reliable access to safe drinking water. No megadams, no billion-dollar foreign loans. No glossy global conferences celebrating it. So how did a small, arid, politically isolated country pull this off, while far richer nations are still struggling? The answer isn't dramatic, but that's exactly why it matters. Eritrea almost never shows up in global water security discussions. When Africa's water future is debated, attention usually goes elsewhere, to the Nile, the Congo Basin, or massive dam projects. But Eritrea sits outside those systems. Rainfall is low and unpredictable. Surface water disappears quickly. Groundwater is limited and fragile. So when Eritrea gained independence in 1991, it faced a brutal question. How do you keep a country alive when water itself is the constraint? What they chose next would quietly shape everything that followed. In the early 1990s, Eritrea was starting from almost nothing. Decades of war had destroyed infrastructure. Most rural communities relied on seasonal streams or hand-dug wells. Drought wasn't an exception, it was the baseline. For the new government, water wasn't a development goal, it was survival. And instead of chasing prestige projects, Eritrea made a decision that still feels unusual today. They planned for scarcity, not abundance. That mindset changed the entire strategy. Most countries facing water stress aim big. Large dams, centralized treatment plants, national pipelines. Eritrea went in the opposite direction. They built hundreds of small and medium water projects, micro dams, check dams, small reservoirs, village ponds, each one modest. Each one cheap, each one local. Here's the key part most people miss. These weren't meant to solve water scarcity individually. They were meant to work together. And that changes everything. Small dams don't make headlines, but they do something big dams often don't. They slow water down. Seasonal rains that would normally rush away get captured, spread out, absorbed. That recharge feeds underground aquifers instead of evaporating off massive reservoirs. And because these structures are small, they use local stone and earth. They rely on local labor. They can be repaired without foreign contractors. If one fails, the system doesn't collapse. That redundancy isn't accidental. It's the point. Now here's where Eritrea quietly leapfrogged. Instead of extending national grids into remote regions, they paired groundwater wells with solar-powered pumps. Sunlight pulls water up. Gravity does the rest. Elevated tanks feed village taps without fuel, without constant maintenance, without imported energy. For rural communities far from cities, this mattered more than any national project ever could. And once again, small systems added up to a national outcome. But infrastructure alone wasn't the real secret. Climate change doesn't just reduce rainfall, it makes it unpredictable. One bad season can wipe out centralized systems, but decentralized ones behave differently. In Eritrea, drought doesn't hit everywhere the same way. Some micro dams fill, others don't. Some aquifers recharge, others hold steady. That spread reduces systemic failure. Instead of betting everything on a single water source, Eritrea built many small bets, and statistically some of them always pay off. That logic is becoming more relevant every year. This approach wasn't limited to rural areas. In cities like Asmara, Eritrea began experimenting with nature-based wastewater treatment. Wastewater is filtered biologically, recycled for agriculture or green spaces, and kept out of primary drinking supplies. That reduces pressure on freshwater sources, without expensive treatment plants or chemical dependence. Again, the theme repeats: lower cost, lower complexity, higher resilience. But none of this works without people. Here's where Eritrea diverges sharply from many aid-driven models. Local communities didn't just receive water systems. They built them. Villagers provided labor. Local technicians were trained, and elected water committees took over management. They set usage rules, handle maintenance, resolve disputes. When something breaks, it doesn't wait for a foreign NGO. It gets fixed. Ownership isn't a slogan here. It's structural. And that's why systems last. Many African water projects fail for familiar reasons: over-centralization, high operating costs, donor dependency, lack of local control. Eritrea avoided most of these traps, not because it had more money, but because it planned for less. No assumption of endless funding, no reliance on complex imports, no expectation that someone else would step in. That discipline forced creativity. And under climate stress, that creativity is starting to look like foresight. Eritrea's water story isn't about perfection. It's about alignment. Strategy matched reality. Infrastructure matched climate. Governance matched capacity. While others chased visibility, Eritrea chased function. And quietly, almost unnoticed, it worked. As water scarcity intensifies worldwide, this kind of approach may matter more than megaprojects ever did. Because in the future, resilience won't come from the biggest systems. It will come from the ones that don't fail when conditions do. And Eritrea understood that early.